got a pattern.
Go.
I have a pattern input in the machine, and I'm just going to program it so the needles get selected. And then I'm going to do some plated tuck, which will show how you have two different colors. With, your main knitting yarn showing on the knitting side, and then the plating yarn is going to show on the purl side. So I'll just pull in my plating yarn here. There we go. Oh, I gotta put some oh crap, I gotta put my brushes on. This machine requires brushes to help it tuck. So there's all these little steps, but they are worth doing. It opens up the possibility of all these interesting things that you can do by creating texture and patterns. And it's as simple as that, as long as my yarn is too I'm going to be very, very lazy here, and I'll just get rid of one yarn, and I'll very quickly close off the stitches so they don't unravel, and then I can show you what it looks like. Just shut the electronics off here. So when you take these off the machine, the stitches are open, so you have to treat them so that they're closed and they won't unravel. And that means casting off. So a little different from hand knitting. Hand knitting, you just have two sticks to work with. In machine knitting, it's the number of needles that you have in work on the knitting bed that you have to close off. And I'm doing something called a latch tool bind off, which I'm doing very, very fast, but I can slow it down. So I want to transfer the stitch on from that needle onto my hook. So as I pull it back, the latch closes, the stitch moves off, and it goes onto my tool. So I put another one, the working yarn, through here. I pull them through together, and they are closed. And then I move on to the next stitch. And by doing this, I am closing them and giving a finish. It's not necessarily the final finish. It depends on what kind of project you're doing. In this case, this is just a little sample. But if I was doing, for instance, a placemat, I would finish it off this way. It's the most versatile bind off. There are some that have absolutely no give. This has a little bit of give. Not too much, but it's got some. Okay, now I can pull this off the machine. I am working with some rather thin yarns here, so it'll make it a little on the soft side. So we usually tube what we've knit on the machine and then pull it off. Now this is the knit side, so you can see how it does form a pattern on the knit side. Most of the time when we use tuck, it's the purl side that's what we call the public side. But you can see how there's two different colors of yarn here. Now, I don't know how well the camera will show. So this would be what I call the public side of tuck. And the stitches are raised to make a little design. And what tuck means is that needles are selected for the pattern on the machine. And as the carriage goes over, these machines stay out. They don't knit right away. So it'll go for so many passes of the carriage, up to, say, four 4 loops will stay on the needle before it gets knit in. And when we're doing plaited tuck, it just creates this lovely little piece of knitting. And that's my demonstration. There we go.